Are you afraid of the market crashing? If so, keep watching, and we're going to talk about that. Hi, I'm Jamie, and I'm a real estate agent here in the beautiful state of Colorado. On this channel, we talk about what things are like living here in Colorado. We talk about the cities, we talk about the people, we talk about the politics, and yes, we talk about real estate. If those things interest you, then hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification to be notified next time I post a video. And if you like this video, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. I get calls from people every week asking me what life is like here in Colorado. Now, I don't have all the answers for people, but I love helping people process what it would be like for them to move here. And so if that's you, give me a call, send me a text, shoot me an email. You can send up smoke signals, you can send out carrier pigeons, whatever it takes, get a hold of me, and I will do my best to answer your questions as honestly and as candidly as I possibly can. And hopefully you will find that maybe Colorado is the right fit. But I will be frank with you, perfectly honest, and maybe it might not be the right place for you. All right, so it is November 2021, and as we get ready to wrap up this year, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the market. Now I'm going to talk about it at a really high level, and I'm going to tell you what my opinion is of it, because I hear the question all the time here. Is the market going to crash? Or I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm going to sell before the market crashes. I'm hearing those things, and I'm just going to give you my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Hopefully it'll be helpful, and I hope it'll be informative so that we can make better decisions moving forward. Now first, let me go through some numbers over the last 3 years. Colorado went from an average sales price of $360,000 3 years ago, 2018, and today we are at an average sales price of $520,000. Now that is quite the appreciation in anybody's book. That's a really good investment if you are a homeowner. If you're not, you should be, because it is a great investment. That's $53,000 made per year just on appreciation. That's pretty close to some people's salaries. That's really good. That is a 14.7%, don't quote me on that, percent interest rate or interest gain in appreciation on houses in the last 3 years. That's Colorado as a whole. I live here in Greeley. And in Greeley, we went from $275,000 for the average sales price in 18 to $390,000 in today's market average sales price. Now that's a little bit below the state average. We gained $38,000 a year with an average appreciation of 14%. So we're pretty close. We're a little bit behind the state, but we're pretty close. Doesn't matter. Either of those is phenomenal gain. And so with that much appreciation, and we've been appreciating at this rate for quite a while now, people are asking, oh, we're getting nervous. It seems like the market's going to crash. Jamie, is the market going to crash? We're going to have another 2008 experience. And in this part of the world, 2008 really hurt. There was a lot of houses. I wasn't a real estate agent in 2008, but I owned multiple properties. And I remember being a buyer in, I think it was '09. And my agent showed me 30 houses. And of those 30 houses, 29 of them were foreclosures. It's crazy. And so it hit us hard. And so a lot of people here remember that and are afraid of that. And so that is what's ringing in their minds. They're seeing this rapid appreciation and they're thinking the market's going to crash. So let me talk about that. Now, in short, I do not think the market's going to crash. I don't see the indicators. Yes, I see the appreciation, and I'll be the first to admit, we cannot sustain this kind of appreciation for that much longer because people will not be able to afford houses anymore. So it's got to slow down. It's got to level out, and eventually it will go down. That's a healthy market. I'm not afraid of that. But the reality is we have a lot of demand here in Northern Colorado, and we've had a lot of demand for a long time. This wasn't in the last 3 years. This was in the last 6 or 7 years. We really started to see a lot of demand in this area. People want to live here. And because of that, we are seeing the appreciation that we're seeing. Because on the other hand, we have low inventory. And that is a problem that can't easily be solved here in Northern Colorado. Why? We have space, but we don't have water. We struggle to provide enough water for the houses. Now there's a few proposals out there, people trying to solve that problem, but until that problem gets solved, I don't foresee a ton more building going on. Now I know from our perception, we drive around and there's a lot of houses being built and we think, wow, there's crazy amount of building, but there's still less building today than there was in '08. Let me say that again. There is still less building today than there was in '08. Some of the factors we saw in '08 that are different than today. First, and probably the most important, is lending practices have changed. I was buying houses in '08, and I remember getting loans in '08, and you would go in, they would check your pulse. They said, oh, you got a good strong pulse. How much money do you want? It was almost that easy. And the first loan I got, and I don't promote this, but the first loan I got was 100% financing. Now that's almost impossible to do today. You can do some down payment assistance programs and things like that, but for the most part, you need to bring some cash to the table. And my first loan, I didn't. I should have. Like I said, that was not a smart decision on my part, and I have learned since then. But what I'm seeing today is I'm not seeing those same lending practices. The other thing I'm not seeing today is I'm not seeing the developers doing things to manipulate the market in their advantage. One of the things that we saw here in this part of the world is we saw developers pricing their houses higher, getting people to buy it, having appraisers in their back pocket, appraising it for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over what it's really worth. And then the developer would cut the buyers a check for $10,000 at closing. So the buyers not only didn't have to bring money to the table, they actually made money just by closing that house. What they didn't realize is they were upside down from day one. Not a good place to be. And that happened a lot. And we actually saw some developers get jail time because of some of the crooked things that they were doing. So you had the lenders, you had the developers, but you also had the appraisers. And now the appraisers are highly regulated. They can't even talk to most of the real estate agents anymore. They can talk to only the lender that hired them, and that's it. And even that is really limited communication. And so they are being regulated a lot more strictly in order to keep the prices where they need to be and not overinflating just to, make a back-end deal work out. So those are some of the things that we're not seeing. But what we are seeing is that demand with low inventory. And because of that, I don't think we are going to see a crash. Now, it is, like I said, November. And in October of this year, we did see things slow down a little bit. Inventory, but also buyer activity. That's a good thing. It is a healthy market to see seasonal ups and downs. This last year, especially the beginning of 2021, here was insane. There were so few houses on the market and so many buyers. I saw some really frustrated and irritated buyers and sellers, and people were making bad decisions. So that's not a good place to be. So I'm glad to see things start to slow down a little bit. Now, when I say slow down, I mean you put a really nice house on the market and you will have multiple offers within a week instead of 24 hours. And even that may be a stretch. If it's a really nice house in a desirable area, you still probably will get multiple offers within a few days. So you're still looking at an extremely fast-paced market. We're still seeing a lot of appreciation. It is still a good idea to buy a house, in my opinion. I've owned multiple properties here, and every property I have owned, personally, I have made money on. And if you can hold that property, I guarantee you that you will make money over the long term. Maybe not the short term, but over the long term. And if you're living in it, it doesn't necessarily matter. If you can make that mortgage payment, then go ahead and make that mortgage payment and keep on trucking, and you will make good money. On average, we have seen 5.5% interest over a 10-year period. Any chunk of 10 years within Colorado, that is what we've seen. So if you're thinking about buying a house, but you're scared and you're like, I don't want to get into the market, it seems crazy, it seems chaotic, please give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. I would love to talk to you. I would love to help brainstorm some of these things with you so that you can make a good decision and set yourself up for the future.